Hi, if you've arrived here because you're considering a career as a mortgage advisor, I'm sure you'll have lots of questions bouncing around in your head. After all, it's a big decision, right? Happily, you've landed in the right place. This short video will help you to decide whether the role of mortgage advisor is right for you, and if so, which type of mortgage advisor role would suit you best. Let's start with the top 6 questions that we hear most frequently from prospective new mortgage advisors, which are the following. Question 1. Is there much of a demand for mortgage advice in the UK? Basically, this question is asking, is there a market? Which is a great first question. Question 2. Aren't there already too many mortgage advisors in the UK? Which again is a great question because it's asking, is the supply greater than the demand? And these two questions are the first questions I'd ask if I was thinking of moving into any new business. Question 3, is the role of mortgage advisor financially rewarding? Now I know we don't work for money. We don't work to become wealthy. But still I think it would be rude to not at least consider this question at the outset. Question 4, does the role of mortgage advisor involve sales? Now the answer to this question might surprise you. Question 5, would there be a need to perform any role play during training? And this is a really common concern for many people who are looking to come into the industry. Please don't stress over this. Question 6, should I become a tied mortgage advisor or an independent mortgage advisor? We'll explore the difference between these two roles within this video. So, let's deal with each of these questions in turn now. So, question 1 asked, is there much of a demand for mortgage advice in the UK? In general, when considering starting any new business, it's essential that detailed research is undertaken to establish that there is a demand, that is a market for the product or service we're planning to provide. And the best outcomes arise where the number of businesses already providing that product or service don't outstrip the demand for that product or service. The housing market is one of supply and demand, which means the mortgage market is also, because people need mortgages in order to buy houses. Regarding the mortgage advice market, if you live in the UK, you'll know that the demand for home ownership has always been enormous. And because most people don't have the savings available to enable them to buy their dream home, they'll need to borrow the money by raising a mortgage. Make no mistake, the people of the UK don't actually want a mortgage, despite what they'll tell you. They actually want the house. And because they don't have the cash necessary, they need a mortgage. There's a big difference between wanting and needing a mortgage. But our question here wasn't about whether there's a demand for home ownership. The question asked, is there a demand for mortgage advice in the UK? So let's see if we can find out with a little help from our friends at Google. Well, this search was performed on the 19th of Feb 2015, and on that date Google identified over 1.4 million web pages or articles that would appear to be optimized for the benefit of people searching for mortgage advisor jobs in the UK. So there must be a large demand for people who are looking for work as mortgage advisors. Let me introduce an important fundamental point at this early stage. If anyone takes a mortgage without first taking advice from a professionally qualified specialist mortgage advisor, the cost of the long mortgage journey will be increased by tens of thousands of pounds, and this is totally unnecessary. What's more, they'll come out of the other side of that long, dark mortgage tunnel totally unaware of their mistake. The truth is that everyone should take advice from a professionally qualified specialist mortgage advisor before embarking on a long mortgage journey. The demand for help in arranging a mortgage is high enough in the UK, but the demand for this service is dwarfed by the need for professionally qualified specialist mortgage advice, which remains huge. Now, question 2 asks, aren't there too many mortgage advisors in the UK already? Well, let's take a look at that. There's certainly no doubt that there are lots of mortgage advisors in the UK already. But the emphasis in the answer to question 1 was on the need for professionally qualified specialist mortgage advisors. Please don't misunderstand me. All UK mortgage advisors are professionally qualified, and the vast majority conduct their businesses professionally and ethically. But I'd estimate that less than 5% of the UK's mortgage advisors could genuinely be considered to be specialists. The majority do a reasonable, though average, job in providing people with a mortgage, which, to be fair, is all their clients expect them to do anyway. So the clients will generally be happy with the service received. My concern surrounds whether the clients are fully aware of what lies ahead of them and whether they'd be happier knowing they could do something to reduce the financial damage during their mortgage term. So, here's the rub, and with no disrespect intended to anyone, when compared to a specialist mortgage advisor, the overwhelming majority of UK mortgage advisors do no more than scratch the surface of the mortgage advisor role. To be fair, many of them are contractually required by their employers to limit the amount of information and advice they provide to their customers, while others either don't have or choose not to use the specialist knowledge that would certainly empower their customers. Happily, this second group can be trained to become specialists. But the first group would need to break the shackles that restrict them before they could develop further and achieve their full potential. So, what's the answer to question 2 then? Well, there's certainly no shortage of average mortgage advisors in the UK, but there will always be a need for more specialist mortgage advisors. But here's the surprise. We don't want too many specialists if we are to retain our value. The demand for the best quality advice should and will always be greater than the supply of best quality advice. That's what makes this a great career move for the right people. After all, if every mortgage advisor were to become a specialist, there would no longer be a need to use the name specialist, because we would no longer be special. Special would have become the norm. Don't stress too much though. That'll not happen during my lifetime, and I expect to be around for at least another 30 years. Although my life insurance provider seems to be less optimistic than me. Now, question 3 asked, is the role of mortgage advisor financially rewarding? And this is important because, like all professionals, we expect to be well rewarded for the service we provide for our clients. Well, the truth is that the role of mortgage advisor is rewarded in an average manner if the advisor provides an average service, while the role of specialist mortgage advisor is highly rewarded because the service provided is financially very valuable to his or her customers. And by valuable, I mean savings of tens of thousands of pounds throughout the mortgage journey. If you compare this with other professions, you'll see exactly the same pattern. While most accountants are making a decent enough living, the top 5% of accountants are generating much higher returns by providing their clients with a more valuable and comprehensive service. Similarly, while most solicitors are making a decent enough living, the top 5% of solicitors are also generating much higher returns by providing their clients with a more valuable and comprehensive service. The bottom line is that mortgage advisors are rewarded in exactly the same way as other professionals, in that the rewards reflect the value of the service in the eyes of their clients. Now, you might be wondering how I know all this to be true. Well, during the past 20 years, I've trained a perhaps surprising number of accountants and solicitors to become specialist mortgage advisors. In the majority of cases, their initial intention was to add mortgage advice to their existing list of services, which is in itself perhaps an indicator that they were dissatisfied with their existing levels of income. However, the majority quickly realized that the income streams being generated by their new mortgage activities were exceeding those being generated by their other activities. I would conclude that the key to success within most professions is to separate yourself from the average crowd by becoming a specialist. That's where the rewards are, both financial and job satisfaction. Now, question 4 asked, does the role of mortgage advisor involve sales? Well, I'm going to be controversial on this point and say it really depends who is training you. If you're looking for a mortgage advisor role within one of the UK's large financial institutions, and specifically the banks, then the emphasis has always been on sales, and the training has always been sales based. However, there are a number of large institutions today who are breaking away from this traditional, misguided and outdated approach. Personally, I've never approached the role of mortgage advisor as a sales role, and I've never trained mortgage advisors to become sales staff. In my eyes, the role of mortgage advisor is a problem-solving role. The basic skills required are loosely described as people skills, which most people actually have and use as a matter of course throughout their daily lives. And this is great news because it means they usually don't need training so much as refining and honing for the role of mortgage advisor. The newly recruited mortgage advisor needs the foundation knowledge that is a minimum requirement for all mortgage advisors, but also needs the extra knowledge and skills that will create the highly regarded and valued mortgage specialist. Now, question 5 asked, would there be a need to perform any role play during training? And I've included this question at this early stage because it arises very regularly in early queries. And once more, the answer is it really depends who's training you. If you're looking for a mortgage advisor role within one of the banks, you'll certainly be required to perform role plays as a part of your initial training. Now, although I understand why role play has always been considered essential within the industry's training programs, I've always found it to be counterproductive for most individuals. And in any event, there are far better ways of achieving the desired outcomes without joining RADA or enrolling for acting lessons. And finally, question 6 asked, should I become a tied mortgage advisor or an independent mortgage advisor? At this early stage, it's worth pointing out that there are two types of mortgage advisor in the UK, these being the tied advisor and the independent advisor. Now, we'd be forgiven for thinking that the two roles are the same. After all, they're clearly both mortgage advisor roles. However, as I'll explain now, this isn't actually the case. A tied mortgage advisor is employed by a mortgage lender, such as a bank, a building society, or a credit union. As an employee, the tied advisor is paid a salary by the employer and acts as the agent of the employer. The tied advisor can only recommend mortgage solutions available from the employer. An independent mortgage advisor, on the other hand, is most commonly self-employed and is paid by the borrowers for finding and arranging a suitable mortgage solution to match their needs and circumstances. However, the independent advisor is also paid commission by the lender as a reward for introducing the new customer. The independent advisor acts as the agent of the borrower, the advisor's client, and has access to the whole mortgage market. My primary role over the past 20 years has been the development of newcomers to the role of mortgage advisor, many of whom chose to take up salaried roles as tied advisors, with many others choosing to build their own business as an independent mortgage advisor. Having run multiple national advisor networks at director level since the mid-1990s, the largest of which supported over 2,500 mortgage advisors and financial advisors throughout the UK, I've been able to help many individuals to build successful businesses as independent mortgage advisors and financial advisors, many of whom I continue to support on an ongoing basis. So, what to do next? If you'd like more help with the task of planning a career as a mortgage advisor, please skip across to our website via the link shown below this video, where you'll be able to submit an online request for contact. You can request a response by email if you wish, or you can leave a telephone number if you'd prefer us to call you. Alternatively, if you'd just like an informal chat regarding your specific requirements, you're welcome to call the support desk on the number shown above. Calls are free from landlines, but you'll need to drop the first 0 if you're calling from a mobile. Just ask for Anthony Judge when you call. If your interest is the CeMAP qualification, please register your interest via the link below this video, and we'll happily send you a free link to one of our CeMAP video tutorials. This is a 45-minute tutorial and includes a test at the end just for fun. And all we'll need from you is your email address and your first name.